Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, November 3rd at 12 p.m. here in San Rafael. We also have members joining in Concord. Could I have the roll call for quorum, please?
Contra Costa County.
Here.
Thank you. Concord.
I'm here.
Walnut Creek. San Rafael. El Cerrito.
Present.
Pinal.
Did you skip me? Fairfax?
We have you
Oh.
down. Pinal.
Here.
Thank you. Mill Valley.
Here.
Larkspur.
Here.
Corte Madera. Fairfax.
Here.
Belvedere.
Present.
Quorum established.
Thank you, clerk. All right,
And just let you know, Walnut Creek just walked in.
Fantastic. Welcome, Director Darling. Next item is board announcements, starting in Concord. Are there any board announcements from members of the board in Concord?
Oh, Director Perry, I have an announcement.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment just to acknowledge the recent Marin IG coverage and the conversations that it has prompted. It's never easy to see our work be portrayed in ways that don't reflect the whole picture. And I just want to make sure to acknowledge staff and thank the board for continuing to stay focused on serving our communities. As you may recall from our executive committee meeting last month in November, we need to just be aware of what our role is as board members. As we agree, the MCE board assignments is to share. We spread the word about MCE programs, rebates, successes, and community work. And inform. We notify MCE about key initiatives and events happening in our communities with an energy nexus, as well as govern, approve MCE's budgets, rates, and policies, and advise. We offer our perspective on community-based policy decisions, as well as advocate. Being a spokesperson, advocating for MCE within our communities and external parties and key stakeholders in our networks. We have existing board policies that address how the board operates, including delegating operational oversight to the CEO, including oversight of staffing decisions and operational oversight in line with board policies and procedures and regulation compliance. As we all know, MCE employs over 100 professional staff with specialized expertise and full-time engagement on MCE operations, freeing up the board members to focus on the connection between MCE and member communities. Despite the headlines in the Marin IG, the story that matters most is MCE as a public agency providing 100% fossil-free energy, millions in customer savings, stable rates, and measurable local impacts with a focus on community equity. I look forward to keeping this focus and this work as we move forward. Right now here in our communities, as you all know, Cal Fresh Cuts has happened across the United States. And in our communities as, elected officials is something that I have heard over the weekend. I had held office hours last Thursday and I was in Crockett and Rodeo, and I had families coming to talk to me about making tough decisions on whether or not they're gonna have to pay utility bills to cover the cost of food. These are working families that was working in San Francisco. They commute every single day, single moms, and they're still, receiving CalFresh in order to make a living to take care of their families. Um, and I think just as a time as this, when we're all as elected officials, to be an elected official in a time as this, when so many things that are going on, so much division that are happening that we see just on TV or we read about, and how do we bring that, to being more calmer for our communities that we serve, for the people that we serve, and how we help support them. And so I just think, the most important thing for us is to make sure that we continue to be open and share factual information. I think, and be respectful with every intent. Um, that's how, I appreciate MCE sharing and being transparent. We'll continue to share this factual information. I think this moment of being with the Marin IG, it gives us the opportunity to demonstrate MCE strengths as well, with transparency and resiliency as a public agency. We have had clean audits, balanced budgets, and a 15-year record of leading the state with clean energy, reliability, and stable rates. But one of the things that, I always lead back to is, how do we support our communities? What are your communities talking to you about? And a lot of those things, when I hear in my community, is about programs, you know. So I would be interested to learn more about what people are calling into MCE about, because I would say at a time like this, they're probably calling in about programs, how they can stay sustainable with their families. And those are things that are important to make sure that we're all keeping at the forefront, is our community members, what people voted us in for, and taking care of the people on the ground. So thank you, Director Perry.
Thank you, Director, and echoing your comments on CalFresh and SNAP benefits nationwide. It's a trying time for many, so appreciate you highlighting that specifically. Are there any other comments or board announcements in Concord? All right, hearing none in San Rafael. All right, we'll move on to the next item, which is public open time for items not on the agenda. I see one person coming here to the microphone, and if you can please put on the microphone and announce your name. You have
Good
3
afternoon.
minutes.
I'm Ken Strong. I'm a director of Marin Conservation League and co-chair of our Climate Action Working Group. And I have some things I want to say on behalf of Marin Conservation League. We've been strong supporters of MCE since its inception, with a number of our members involved in the formative meetings and early fights. We regularly attended technical committee meetings and learned about energy markets as new technologies were explored. We applauded as CCAs began popping up all over, and MCE expanded into first Contra Costa and then Napa and finally Solano counties. We supported MCE's financial decisions to develop substantial reserves and work to obtain a favorable credit rating. We applauded the many renewable energy contracts MCE signed. We did so while being assured by MCE that soon MCE would have sufficient reserves that it could turn its surplus revenues to meaningfully expand community programs while maintaining favorable rates. We've enjoyed a good relationship with MCE staff throughout this time, and during this time, the direction of MCE was clear. We remain strong supporters of MCE's mission. Our public comments are not meant to suggest malfeasance by management. However, now MCE is a $750 million publicly owned energy business, and its reserves have approached their target of nearly $500 million. MCE could potentially have millions of dollars in surplus and is faced with more difficult decisions which require more active oversight and direction from the board, consistent with your fiduciary responsibilities. Last year, management suggested that MCE should use tens of millions of its surplus to purchase generation assets with little clarity as to what kind of assets, the potential risks of asset ownership, or alternative uses for the funds. We found this alarming. After the public asked questions, the subject was referred to an ad hoc committee, and the board and public never heard any follow-up. Did management reconsider this idea or just table it for now? No idea. MCE now faces an affordability crisis concerning electric rates, as well as challenges from volatile energy prices. What energy products should MCE buy, and what amount of risk should it assume? Should customer rates be reduced? If so, for whom and how much? Which of the approximately 25 consumer programs and pilots should MCE focus its resources on, and how much of MCE's own funds should it invest? How best should MCE achieve its mission of reducing GHG emissions? These are all complex decisions, and all of them are more difficult when MCE experiences operating losses, as it has recently. It is with these concerns in mind that MCL is asking for greater transparency, more financial analysis and oversight, and more informed discussions with the board and the public about strategy decisions. We think greater transparency will lead to better decisions with more support for MCE and will strengthen the agency and help it achieve its mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Are there any other members of the public in San Rafael who wish to provide public comment? Seeing none, are there any in Concord?
There are no members of the public in Concord.
Thank you. Are there any online?
I see a couple online, Chair. Matthew Salter and then Mary Stomp.
Okay. Matthew Salter, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
It should be, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
It should be clear to the board at this point that the public scrutiny of MCE and its management is very high. The IJ published an unprecedented 4-part investigation into the agency. The editorial board called for MCE to create a separate finance committee, saying it's a quote unquote, no-brainer. Dick Spotwood called for the board to be reconstituted entirely. Notable outside groups have called for greater transparency and accountability, including the Marin Conservation League, Clean Coalition, 350 Marin, and Sustainable San Rafael. MCE's customers are paying higher rates than PG&E and the second highest rates in the state, even though MCE does not have to generate profits and does not have to pay dividends. And all the while, clean energy prices have been falling. Despite these high rates, the agency is losing money at an alarming rate. MCE's mismanagement led the agency to swing from $144 million in operating profit in fiscal 24 to $12 million in operating losses in fiscal 25. The operating loss grew even larger in the first quarter. MCE lost $27 million in just 3 months. On a cash flow basis, the first quarter was even worse. MCE lost $54 million from operating cash flows, leading to a $53 million drop in cash reserves by the end of the quarter. This cash loss will eat into 75% of MCE's operating reserve fund. The ExCom is here today to discuss the CEO's compensation. At $532,000, Don's base salary was the highest of all 25 CCAs. Given MCE's unacceptable financial performance over the past year and management's documented history of abusing power, I urge the board to look into removing Dawn Weiss immediately. She has lost the confidence of the community. This board is supposed to serve. The time has come for a fresh start and a change in leadership. The eyes of the community are watching. Our constituents and ratepayers deserve much better than this.
Next comment. I believe it's Mary Stump. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Stump, and I'm a board member with the Coalition of Sensible Taxpayers, a CPA, and a former auditor. In reviewing today's executive committee packet, I noticed that the financial statements provided are described as a compilation and that they omit substantially all of the note disclosures typically required by generally accepted accounting principles. In fact, the CPA firm that prepared the statement specifically stated that management has elected to omit substantially all of the note disclosures required by accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America in these interim financial statements. If the omitted disclosures were included in these financial statements, they might influence the user's conclusion about the authority's financial position, results of operation, and cash flow. Accordingly, these financial statements are not designed for those who are not informed about such matters. This raises concerns about transparency and accountability, especially given that Marine Clean Energy is a public agency handling significant public funds. Without full disclosure, it's difficult for taxpayers, board members, and the public to fully understand the organization's financial condition. I urge the Executive Committee to require complete financial statements with all note disclosures in future packets. I also encourage you to consider providing a higher level of transparency by engaging an independent outside firm to conduct a review or an audit, rather than a compilation, which simply takes management's numbers and formats them without any verification or review of the underlying accounting records. Having served on many nonprofit boards myself, I also want to note that best practices for an organization include establishing a separate finance committee. Such a committee can take a deeper dive into financial statements and audit matters, ensuring robust oversight and financial integrity. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other public comments online?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Excellent. Thank you for everyone who provided public comment. We will move on to the next item, which is a report from the CEO. Dawn?
Thank you, Chair. I want to start off with a recap of our annual board survey, which was conducted during our retreat last month. Feedback was collected through the paper survey as well as the electronic survey sent after the retreat, and also via some direct verbal feedback that we got before, during, and after the retreat. The top priorities that board members want to discuss include power supply.
Excuse me, Dawn?
Yeah.
We can't see you on the screen. Is it possible for folks to change the camera? Now we can. Go ahead. Thank you.
All right, very good. So the top priorities that board members want to discuss include power supply, renewable energy. We've got a request to go visit some of our renewable projects, which are now on the calendar. Rate stability, political advocacy, particularly around regulatory and legislative issues. And we had a request for an in-person site visit to see CAISO as well, which thank you to Director Nakamura for that good suggestion. That's now on the schedule for November 17th. And then second priority topics for board discussion that were requested by the wide range of board members that we have include the programs offered by MCE, a bit more about the innovative pilot initiatives that we have going, and then some discussion around the size of the board, the governance, and the appropriate role of board members, as well as budget and finance. There were also some requests to discuss governance as far as the correct lane for board members versus staff, and we're looking at some opportunities to explore that going into next year. Also, there was a desire for a targeted email updates and shareable resources around regulatory issues that are coming up, grant and rebate links, lobbying talking points, constituent outreach materials, and then an interest in staff follow-up outside of meetings on technical issues, including the VPP presentation and the VPP work that we're doing, the solar farm partnerships that we have, the PCIA, exit fees, and CPUC issues, to name a few. Lastly, we got some interesting feedback that the majority of respondents would really like the substance that's in the board packets, but would like to keep the board meetings a bit more high level as far as the presentation goes. And we had some requests to take detailed questions and detailed engagement and back and forth offline and have that happen before or after the meetings. So we will be working towards incorporating this great feedback into our work going into the next year. And I just want to thank board members for taking the time to provide that to us. Next, I wanted to also make a comment on the recent series of Marin IJ articles. They really are a reminder that our work extends beyond providing clean energy. It's also about modeling open, ethical, and accountable governance. We welcome constructive oversight and healthy debate. It's how we evolve, and it's how we continue to earn and build public trust. Our team's approach remains the same: to be open, factual, and respectful in every interaction. Despite the headlines at the Marin IJ, the story that matters most is MCE as a public agency providing 100% fossil-free energy, millions in customer savings, stable rates, and measurable local impact with a focus on community equity. I look forward to keeping our focus there as we move forward together. And next, I wanted to turn to some recent promotions. We don't always have time on our agendas to get into what's happening internally at the staff level, but I wanted to take a moment here to announce a few exciting promotions in our finance, power resources, and policy teams. First of all, Maida Strauss, who many of you have heard from, and I see is here on the screen with us, has been promoted to CFO just last month. And Maida brings over 15 years of experience in financial management and strategic planning to her role. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from SFSU and a post-baccalaureate certification in business strategies. She also has 8 years with MCE. She's demonstrated exceptional leadership in CCA finance, helping to launch the California Community Choice Financing Authority, securing investment-grade credit ratings for MCE, issuing $1 billion in green bonds, and guiding MCE through major market volatility with steady, transparent fiscal management. Her track record speaks for itself, and it reflects the strength of MCE's financial foundation. Some of the recent accomplishments by Maida include delivering $25.4 million in investment income, exceeding budget by over 100% with a 5.2% average yield. She secured a Fitch upgrade to A- and S&P reaffirmation of our A rating. And this has all happened in a highly hectic financial environment. She's been able to strategically time and complete issuance of MCE's third green bonds valued at about $1 billion, generating about $16 million annually in customer savings. She's maintained a balanced budget, a clean audit, and continued reserve growth. Next, I wanted to announce a promotion for CB Hall, Director of Power Resources. He has a 20-year, actually more than 20 years of experience in the energy and finance sector. He's worked for CAISO. He's worked for PG&E. He's worked for Sonoma Clean Power and Morgan Stanley. He holds a BA in economics from Brown University and an MBA from Dartmouth College. Next, I wanted to announce a promotion for Stephen Mariana, who is our new manager of power resources. He's been with MCE for quite a while, so this is a promotion. He has 7 years of energy sector experience, including 4 years of power procurement and power supply management for public power entities in California, and 3 years regulating utility power procurement and PPA negotiations for the state of Hawaii, which is a very complex state to deal with power supply, given that they are literally on an island. He also holds a BA from Tufts University and is earning his MBA at UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business. And then I wanted to also announce a promotion in our power supply sector for Johnny Kipiador, who is our new power analytics principal manager. That's his new title. He has more than 7 years of experience in the energy sector and has worked for Alameda Municipal Power, including load and resource management, energy resource planning, and load and supply forecasting. He has a bachelor's and a master's in energy resource engineering from Stanford. And last but not least, I want to announce a promotion on our policy team. We have a lot going on in the policy sector, and we rely heavily on our policy team to help us with key financial drivers. Jordan Bishop has been promoted to Policy Counsel. She has more than 8 years of experience in the energy and legal fields. Before joining MCE's policy team, she served as senior legal counsel for energy equity at the Greenlining Institute and also served as assistant city attorney to several California cities. She earned her JD from the University of California College of the Law in San Francisco. And then next, I just wanted to turn to a couple of recent power resource wins, just so that this committee is aware. I know there's been a lot of discussion about finance and budget recently, and while policy is a very key driver in our financial outcomes, power supply is also a key driver. Really, power supply costs reflect about 94% of our overall budget. So I just wanted to make sure folks are aware that the Power Resources team has executed 4 power purchase agreements this year. 110 megawatt solar project with co-located 110 megawatt battery storage, 118 megawatt wind project, and about 127 megawatts of standalone storage, which is expected to come online all within the next 6 years. This includes qualifying capacity to fulfill the requirements of the midterm reliability requirements by the California Public Utilities Commission under very challenging market conditions. And the last thing I wanted to report on is that we have a couple of tours coming up. As I mentioned, CAISO tour is going to be on Monday, November 17th. From 10:30 to 1. This is going to be in Sacramento. We're happy to help coordinate carpools if folks are interested in that, or you may know who's in your neck of the woods if you want to try setting up carpools, but it will be in Folsom. And then the Solar One tour, MCE Solar One, is located in Richmond, and that tour is set for the same day as our next board meeting, Thursday, November 20th at 10 a.m. So we hope y'all can make it to either of or both of those. There's also going to be a ribbon cutting coming up in the 3rd week of November that Director Murphy is able to attend down in Southern California for one of our battery and solar projects. So looking forward to that, and we'll be reporting back. And that's it for my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dawn. And we've had some technical difficulties. We can no longer see the Concord office, so I see staff scrambling to get it back up, and much appreciation. Are there any questions for Dawn from Concord? And I apologize, I can't see you, so if you can
That's okay.
speak up.
Director Darling, I had one quick question.
Go ahead.
And this is probably more for Vicken than for you, Dawn, but I'm assuming with the changes in federal policy that were advantageous for MCE owning and operating a project, that the ad hoc, and I know the ad hoc committee has not met lately, I'm assuming that those have been put on the back burner at this point until the federal government.
Yeah, Vicken, would you like to comment on that? I think there's a lot more to it than what's happening at the federal level.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Don. So it's been on the back burner. The only thing that we are still working on is the technology-based transmission remedial action scheme with ISO and PG&E. It's been going on for over a year and a half, and we don't have much to report on. But the short answer is you're correct.
Thank you. I was kind of assuming that since we had not been called. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. Any other questions from Concord? All right, seeing none. San Rafael, Director Kohler.
Yeah, thanks for the information, Dawn, and the highlight on promotions, which I think is great. I think we should try to do that at every meeting, every time we have a promotion. But I'm just wondering, maybe in the next packet, maybe we can get an org chart, because people's titles have changed and there's new folks. And, I was here when there was about 12 people and it's obviously gotten a lot bigger. So it'd be great to see that as a consent calendar item. Thank you.
Great idea. And the org chart is up on our website, but we'll send it around.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Director Wilkinson.
Thank you. Thanks, Dawn. I just had a quick comment or question in relation to the talking points that have been circulating from your comms team over the last few weeks. And there was one set of talking points that came out on October the 27th, which was providing a list of facts. And one of those was that MCE has a AAA equivalent credit rating. I was wondering if you could comment on that.
Maida, I see you're up on the screen. Do you want to weigh in on that one?
Sure. So we have a Fitch and S&P ratings, and we have a A- and an A rating.
Right. So this talking point is saying in terms of MCE's track record that MCE has a AAA equivalent credit rating, which, as Maida's just said, is not correct. Our credit rating is 5 notches beneath a AAA rating. And I just think it's important. It's important that we're very accurate about our credit ratings in public documents. And so I would urge staff to correct that for the record. And I would hate to think that board members might be running around communicating these talking points and suggesting that we have a credit rating that is higher than the US government. That would be a mistake to do that. So I think when we're talking about being fact-based, it's really important that these communications that we send out to board members are accurate. And there seems to be another error on that talking point document from October the 27th, which says that the premium for deep green is 1.5 cents. My understanding is that the board approved a 1.25 cent premium. And so again, I think if you're going to be distributing facts to board members, that they do need to be accurate. So I think those things should be corrected. Thank you.
Dawn, do you wish to respond on that, or?
No, happy to take a look at that, unless Jamie, if you had anything you wanted to say, but I think we can just take that back and appreciate the feedback.
Great. Thank you. And on behalf of the full XCOM, congratulations to everyone who received a promotion. I know we have had conversations about governance and financial oversight here, but we celebrate our staff. We appreciate the work you do. And on behalf of all of us, congratulations to those who receive well-deserved promotions. A round of applause. All right, moving on to our next item. We have a consent calendar. There's one item C3 that we will pull if there's any questions, this is the first time the treasurer's report and monthly investment report are on our agenda on the consent calendar. So our CEO is available if anyone has any questions on this. Are there any questions on C3? Director Wilkinson?
Again, I have a question or just a clarification for me. So the first point I wanted to say here is that I very much appreciate this increased reporting that we're seeing here. This is stuff we've been asking for a long time. So Maida, thank you for that. The increased transparency within that reporting, it's really helpful. The second point I wanted to make is that on page numbers are so tiny. I think it's page 9 where your financial result highlights and customer statistics. You've got some tables there on the left-hand side which don't match in terms of the financial reporting there in terms of change in net position compared with the quarterly financials that are reported by
Excuse me, Director. I'm sorry. I just want to check with Director Perry. Do we need to pull this item? Because since we're going into in-depth detail, just want to make sure we're following the process.
Thank you, Director. Catalina, should we vote on the other items first before taking Dawn had indicated interest in taking 1 or 2 questions on this item.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you would like to have entertain 1 or 2 questions, we can do that. The simplest would be to just move forward and vote on item C1 and C2 and then pull C3 for full discussion.
Yep.
And then vote on that one separately.
All right. Are there any other items on consent that directors would like to pull? Yeah.
I'd like to pull C4.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve C1 and C2?
So moved. Quinto.
Thank you,
forgot
Director
comment.
Quinto.
Public
And
comment.
second from Director Darling. Can we have the roll call, please?
Chair.
Excuse me, Director Perry. I think we might have to do public comment.
Are there members of the public who wish to comment on consent calendar items C1 and C2? It's approval of the minutes and proposed 4th amended and restated Schedule A of the Master Service Agreement. No. Any comments online?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
In Concord? All right. Can we do the roll call, please? Thank you.
Contra Costa County,
Yes.
Concord,
Yes.
Walnut Creek,
Yes.
El Cerrito,
Yes.
Pinal,
Yes.
Mill Valley,
Yes.
Larkspur,
Yes.
Fairfax,
Yes.
Belvedere.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Clerk. All right. Item C3, Director Wilkinson.
Sorry, I'll try and be brief. So the point I was just trying to make, Maida, is, or it's a question, which is that there's a discrepancy between those highlights shown on the summary financial result highlights and customer statistics versus the unaudited quarterlies. I think that's because you're excluding grant income and expenses. If that is correct, I'd love you to clarify that. And if that is the case, I think you should just have a footnote there so that there isn't confusion between those two different sets of reporting.
Sure. Can you please point out which one you're mentioning? And yes, we do have the numbers from the graphs are not going to match the financial statements, and one of the reasons is the grant reporting. That is correct, and we do have a footnote on that.
So I'm trying to, the page numbers are so tiny, I can't see what they are, but it's the second page, 7, 8, must be page 9. There at the top there, you have operating fund balance, results, and variance. I don't see a footnote there, but those numbers obviously differ from the full aggregated financial statements. And so unless I'm missing the footnote, I think it's important to make that clear to people, because when they're trying to cross-match these two different sets of reports, they're different, and it's important to explain why.
Sure, Director Wilkinson, yes.
Okay.
We do have a footnote. I also need and I'll point it out to you via email if that's okay.
Yeah, that would be
I'll show
great.
that to you. Yeah. So the financial statements are not going to match our budget because, as you know, we have 4 budgets, and the financial statement encompass data from all of our budgets. So they don't match. And I will follow up via email with you with that footnote to see if you have any questions and suggestions there.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments on this item?
And Director Perry.
Yep. Go ahead, Director.
Yes, just going back and with regards to staff sharing the information, can staff share it with all of us as well so that we all know the footnote that's going to be included?
Yes, for sure we will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayra. All right. Are there any public comments on C3 specifically? Yeah. Seeing one. Dan, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Dan Sagan, Marine Conservation League. MCL has been a longtime supporter of MCE. Recently, we spoke in support of the solar and wind PPAs presented at TechCom. But we do have a lot of current concerns and suggestions, and they are all offered with the spirit of making MCE better. We hope management and the board understand this underlying motivation, more success for MCE, not less. With that spirit in mind, here are some concerns and suggestions. Putting the quarterly financial results on the consent calendar is the opposite of what a finance committee would do if they were taking a deep dive. It would be advantageous to MCE if there was ample time to have an informed discussion about the financial results and their implications. The first quarter results are concerning with an operating loss of $27 million. All the more reason to make the time through a standing finance committee to conduct quarterly, thorough reviews. We also note that it's been over 4 months since the end of the first quarter. This long delay is far from best practice. We envision a day when the quarterly results are reviewed in half that time. We were disappointed to see a significant number of errors in the first quarter report. There are places where the variances don't add up to the total, where certain key numbers don't match the financials, and where MCE is presented as doing better than budget when they did worse. Again, we are very far from best practice, and there is room for improvement just from making sure the numbers add up and tie to the financial statements. The analysis of the results can also be improved. There is an odd mix of significant detail about smaller items and insufficient detail on critical items. Energy costs are 94% of costs. At the retreat, management had a helpful slide that showed the 6 major components of energy cost. But in this quarterly report, there is no reporting on these components. These components provide some insight into MCE's exposure to energy market risk and also provide the environmental community with some insight into the additionality of environmental claims. So a simple suggestion, show the 6 components of energy cost and lead an informative discussion. All in all, these facts risk sending a message that professional presentation and timely discussion of financial results is not a priority within MCE. The results could be a useful tool to communicate business issues, make improvements, and raise major policy issues to the board for consideration. MCE can do much better. Until then, we'll be asking questions here and making suggestions. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your service on this board.
Thank you, Dan. Any other public comments in San Rafael? Seeing none. In Concord?
None in Concord.
Online?
I see a member of the public online, Matthew Salter.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Hi, so just to follow up with Dan Segadin's comments, which I completely agree with, it would be wonderful to understand why that the electricity sales were 170 million, but the cost of electricity was 186 million, which drove a $27 million operating income loss. So just understanding why the imbalance was so large. And then the second part is when you go to the statement of cash flows, there was a huge payment for suppliers of electricity and collateral that was above that cost of electricity, which then drove a $54 million operating loss of cash flows from operations. And that drove a loss of change in cash of 53 million. So cash reserves went down by 53 million. The reserve that the company has is 70 million in total for these sorts of losses. So it's a tremendous loss in 3 months. And it'd be great to better understand why so much of the cash has been consumed in the first quarter and what's driving that, and why the company's operating at a loss to begin with. What's the problem with management's forecast in terms of demand, or what is the failure of hedging these contracts? But there's no explanation of either of these, which is very concerning when the agency only has so much in reserves to begin with. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Are there other directors? Sorry, thank you, Matthew. Are there other members of the public online who wish to provide comment on C3?
I see no additional hands, Chair.
All right. We also had a request for C4. Are we allowed to take both of these as one motion after, or should we vote on C3 first?
C3 is no action. It was to be accepted by the executive committee. So I think that it would be fine to either tack it onto a C4 since we've just taken it off to this discussion, but that way it is at least received in, or the committee, if they'd like to have it as a separate motion, we can just say that we receive it.
In the interest of time, I suggest we combine them. For C4, are there members of this board who wish to ask questions on it? Yep.
I just had one suggestion, which is to add to the consent calendar for the board meeting this Q1 Treasurer's Report, just so that if there is further discussion amongst the board, that can happen at that time. It is important when there's calls for more transparency that the full board gets to see these materials and have the potential to discuss them. So I would just recommend that's added on consent if possible. Thank you.
Maira, is that the intention going forward for it to be the board or for it to just be on the XCOM agendas?
We are going to discuss internally, but for sure we will present at the next board meeting.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And also, I would like to say I am unaware of any mistakes in the treasurer's report. And if it was found any inconsistency, I would love that this is sent to us via email because as far as I know, there are no mistakes there. All the numbers are correct. And regarding notes, we do have all of our audited annual financial statements include all the required note disclosures. And our interim reports, the ones that we have in our quarterly report, it is very normal and also compliant to omit those note disclosures for interim statements, not for the final statement that's audited by our third party. So I just wanted to clarify those items. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Are there other directors who wish to provide comments or questions on C4?
This is Director Darling.
Go
I
ahead.
had one quick question I want to clarify with staff because I was just going through my emails. The treasurer reports have always gone to the full MCE boards on a quarterly basis, haven't they? Okay.
That's
what I
correct.
thought. Yeah.
Yes, it was shared around October 15 with the full board, and it's always shared quarterly. And also, I sent the monthly investment report monthly.
I believe the new addition is adding it to the consent calendar in case there's questions. Yeah. Are there members of the public who wish to provide comment on C4 in San Rafael? Seeing none. Concord still has no members of the public, correct? And online, does any member wish to comment on C4? All right, no raised hands. Can I have a motion to approve C3 and C4? You can make the motion.
I'll move C4, please.
Second.
All right, can we have a roll call, please?
And just for clarification, it would be to approve C4 and accept in C3.
Accepted the friendly amendment.
Thank you.
Contra Costa County,
Yes.
Concord,
Yes.
Walnut Creek,
Yes.
El Cerrito,
Yes.
Pinal,
Yes.
Mill Valley,
Yes.
Larkspur,
Yes.
Fairfax,
Yes.
Belvedere.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Clerk. All right, item number 6 is public open time on the closed session matter. We'll take public open time on this matter, and then members of staff and members of the public will be asked to leave the room. Are there any members of the public in San Rafael who wish to comment on this item? Yes, go ahead. And you'll have 3 minutes.
You need to press the button, Mimi.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. I'm Mimi Willard, President of the Coalition of Sensible Taxpayers. And I see a split screen here where you have MCE under a fair amount of recent scrutiny, appropriately so. And at the same time, you have an exceptionally well-paid CEO with a total compensation that is in the range of $700,000. So the question is, what are the metrics that are being used to set and reward the compensation of your CEO? And I think the public deserves to know what those are. Are they comparisons versus similar districts or agencies? Have you polled the effectiveness and trust of the staff, of the board, of the public? Do your calculations for rewarding compensation and performance budgets, performance awards relate to results versus plan? In other words, predictability, as well as the results versus other similar agencies. I would advocate that you postpone a compensation vote today pending a more complete review of the kind of metrics that I am suggesting here, unless those have already been done, in which case I think we should be informed about them. If you nonetheless decide for whatever reason to proceed today with the vote, I think that you should certainly consider zero increase and zero performance award. And thirdly, given in the light of all of that, I think wherever you come out on this, that the executive committee members who have concerns about the performance of your CEO and of MCE under her guidance should vote no on the compensation. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other members in San Rafael who wish to provide public comment? Seeing none. Online, are there members who wish to provide comment?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Okay. I see a couple of our HR senior staff in the room in Concord and San Rafael. Does anyone wish to provide any insight? I realize we have some items that are confidential that the board receive, but just in terms of the comp or general counsel.
I'm sorry, Chair, what information are you looking for?
There were some questions in public comment, just inviting staff if they wish to provide any answers to them or any fuller context that might have been provided that's available to the public.
Yeah, happy to indicate that in October of 2024, that's when the executive committee approved the CEO compensation and review structure, which set forth the structure for the executive committee to look at as it comes to the CEO's review and her compensation structure. So outside of that, I don't have anything else to engage in.
Thank you, General Counsel. All right, I'll ask members of the public as well as staff to please leave the room in both Concord and San Rafael. Staff who are supporting on the technical side, can you please make sure that it's not recording and that members of the public as well as staff are not on the Zoom? And I believe that we need to invite the Petrero group as well. Yeah, thank you. We'll give folks a few minutes. Right, okay.
You want me to tell him? Director Perry, we're moving to the conference room.
Understood. Justine Parmalee has asked when you get in the room if you can turn on and off the camera. We're having a little bit of issue with freezing. People who speak oftentimes freeze on the screen. So apparently it'll help if you just turn the camera on and off.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Joining.
All right, welcome everyone back out of closed session. Appreciate members of the public and staff for bearing with us, as well as our CEO. All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Yeah, one moment.
Mike, can you make sure that the roll call tracker is up on the screen, please?
I don't know why this is not. Okay. Okay. All right. Contra Costa County.
Here, present.
Thank you. Concord.
Here.
Walnut Creek.
She ran to the restroom.
Okay. El Cerrito.
Present.
Pinal.
Present.
Mill Valley.
Here.
Larkspur.
Here.
Fairfax.
Here.
Belvedere.
Yep.
Quorum established.
Thank you very much, Clerk. Item number 8, Resolution 2025-06, establishing the annual compensation for the Chief Executive Officer. I'll turn it over to the General Counsel to read the resolution.
Thank you, Director Perret. And I just wanted to do a brief report out from the closed session. Staff was given a direction on what to include for this item, which will now be voted on. So the resolution for the committee to consider is to have the annual salary for the Chief Executive Officer to be established in the amount of $568,828, which results in an approved increase of 4% to the CEO's previously established salary, which will be effective the next applicable pay period beginning on November 16th, with benefits and cost of living adjustments as provided to all MCE employees on the normal timescale associated with those benefits. And so now we would need a motion on that.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll move that. This Barbara Kohler, Fairfax.
Thank you, Director Kohler. Is there a second?
I will second that. Laura Nakamura, Concord.
Thank you, Director Nakamura. Can we have the roll call, please, on that?
Contra Costa County.
Yes.
Concord.
Yes.
Walnut Creek.
Yes.
El Cerrito.
Yes.
Pinal.
Yes.
Mill Valley.
Yes.
Larkspur.
No.
Fairfax.
Yes.
Belvedere.
No.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Don, for your service. We much appreciate lots of kudos from the board in various respects. Congratulations on the increase. Next item is item number 9, committee and staff matters. Are there any committee members in Concord who wish to comment on this item? Seeing none in San Rafael?
Sorry, Chair, we do have
Yeah.
one comment here that's a staff matter, but I'd like to have board members go first.
Fantastic. Any in San Rafael? Seeing none, go ahead.
Sure. I just want to share a few additional items related to the recent Marin IJ articles. There are 2 brief corrections to the talking points distributed last week, just to ensure absolute accuracy and transparency. First is the credit rating reference to AAA equivalent liquidity. This was an inadvertent error, and MCE's credit ratings are A from S&P and A- from Fitch, both with stable outlooks reflecting strong investment grade credit and sound financial management. Second is the deep green premium. The correct amount is 1.25 cents per kilowatt hour, not 1.5. We've made that correction, and if it hasn't gone out to the board yet, it will be going out shortly. Also, at the beginning of today's meeting, a comment was made during public open time by an MCE board alternate stating that MCE has the second highest rates in the state. This is incorrect. MCE's rates are and have always been less expensive than PG&E, and they fall about 50th percentile compared to the state average. MCE's total bill costs are impacted by PG&E's delivery charges and PCIA fees. So I just wanted to correct the record on that. Thank you.
Much appreciation, Don, and any other staff members involved. Appreciate it. All right. We shall adjourn the meeting. Appreciate all of the directors and staff who stayed past our usual time. Thank you.